Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
You are listening to Active Spaces Insightful Conversations with Ayanda Sithebe. Keep it locked.
Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Yes, my name is Ayanda Sithebe and you're listening to Insightful Conversations. It's a good day, beautiful day, joined by the amazing Mandisa Vundla.
Hello, Ayanda.
You guys apparently had so much fun here last week.
You have no idea. You missed out.
I must just stay away, right?
Thank goodness for podcasts.
I had so much, what do you call it? FOMO? I was like sick in bed and I was like, oh my God, people are really having loads and loads of fun at the studio there. But we're back again. And as you know, the last Thursday of the month, we're focusing more on really breaking down the industry and really giving you insight of what's happening in the industry. So if you a young actor out there or established actor, I think today is really your show. So if you want to talk to us, hit us up on Twitter at Actor Spaces. I've got a really amazing guest today who's going to sort of really, because what we want to focus on, Mandy, is rights, right? Do actors have rights?
We'll find out.
Right?
He'll tell us.
Yeah, because I think most of the time we focus on the art aspect of it and really forget other logistics around it, you know. So we're joined by Daniel Janks. Mr. Janks, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So you here not as an actor today, I guess, right?
Definitely as an actor. Always as an actor.
Always carrying
absolutely.
that, right? You're so right.
But today also as a representative of Saga, of the South African Guild of Actors.
I think a good start would be, what is Saga? I think we know Saga, right? Just in the air there. A lot of actors know Saga. But what is actually Saga?
So Saga is it is the guild that represents actors' interests in South Africa. Our mandate is to try and improve the rights, the working conditions, just improve the lot of actors working in South Africa.
Are you winning?
Are we winning?
Good question.
We've done some amazing things. We've gotten amazing progress on certain fronts, and we still fight many battles that are tough, that are very tough.
Yeah.
What's the worst battle you've had to, like, if you can mention it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not really specific things. It's more, at the moment, we are very engaged in actually looking at the legislation that's in place in South Africa that, in some ways, I think discriminates against actors and stops us from getting access to some of the legal rights and protections that are available in other sectors in South Africa. Yeah.
Wow. If you have questions for Daniel, hit us up on Twitter at Actor Spaces. Give us those questions. Any thoughts you have about actors' rights? I mean, do actors have rights? Like, I was talking to an actor the other day. He's like, I'm just a freelancer. You know, the difference between freelancer and someone who's employed full time, what's the difference there? And do actors have rights?
So we absolutely do have rights, but unfortunately we're not protected under law in the same way that normal employees are in South Africa, and it's all to do with this concept of us working as independent contractors or freelancers. So we don't have any of the protection that sort of sits under labor law, which is very specifically targeted and aimed towards actual employees.
Wow.
So we do have rights, and it's one of Saga's main missions is to try and educate, let's call them employers, even though we're not employees, producers, theatres, production companies, about the difference between an employee and a freelancer or an independent contractor.
And I guess the mission now is to really get the actors as well involved in sort of getting this information, because I know artists overall, they rather want to focus on the craft and say, I don't care about, I just want to focus on the art.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, focusing on the art and getting ripped off or working on bad conditions, it's something else.
Absolutely. I mean, we do, I think that ideally actors are creative people, and ideally we'd like to forget about all of the business of it and the money of it and the contracts. We just want to work. We just want to tell stories. That's sort of the passion that drives certainly most of us.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we do have to make a living.
Yeah.
We do have to protect our own rights. We have to know what our rights are. We do have to sign contracts. We do have to do jobs. So it's important for actors to educate themselves about what is and isn't okay in the industry, about what the normal practices are, about what they can expect, about what they can demand, and about the power that they have and the power that they don't have.
Okay, I think we're going to take a short break. Coming back from the break, I really want to ask another important question. The role of an agent in all of this, you know, if an actor has to worry less about all these logistics and just focus on their art, what's the role of an agency? But that's after the break.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
This one's explosive.
brandlive.co.za.
You know life can be so ordinary. Boy meets girl, they settle, make a baby.
brandlive.co.za.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Brand Live.
No doubt.
Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping center set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat.
Oh, closer. I can project as well if you want me to. And that is
We're back online. I see people doing signals. I guess our viewers are hearing the behind the scenes of it, which is great, right? And that's what should radio be, especially internet radio. We should have those moments. Mandisa Vundla,
Hello.
you were doing a lot of research and questions, and I think you're one of the people that's very passionate about actors' rights. Or you like slowly getting into it?
No, I'm here. Human rights in general and actors' rights are a part of that. I mean, I really want to talk about, you know, the agencies, the agent actually. You know, it was very fascinating to realize that the agent must work for the actor, whereas the actor thinks that, you know, they're employed by the agent, and that's what I want to talk about now. You know, who works for who?
Well, in my point of view, for the relationship to really work, it should be a partnership.
Yeah.
Nobody really works for anyone. Theoretically, I suppose the agent works for the actor. The agent is trying to look after their actor, their client, and they are negotiating on behalf of their client. So they're essentially working for the actor. But if it's not a partnership, then, you know, I've had quite a few agents in my career, and I know that the ones that I've really worked well with, my current agent, who I just absolutely love, it feels more like a partnership. Their business relies on me and their other artists working, and my business relies on them getting out there and finding work and supporting me when work comes in and contracts need to be negotiated.
Wow. And what's the relationship between the agents and Saga? Because I think that could really, really play a big role in terms of Saga communicating to actors. It could just narrow down, logistics in terms of targeting actors all around the country and just targeting an agency that's got 500 actors and communicate
Sure.
to all of them? Is there a relationship there, or you're building?
There is a relationship. We're constantly building that relationship. The organization that represents the agents, the PMA,
Yes.
we're trying to partner with them. We're looking now to sort of formalize that partnership, if possible. And so Saga is desperate to work with agents.
Yeah.
The agent is the person that interacts with their actors the most.
Yeah.
And
true.
so the agents that do champion Saga are hugely valuable to us. They encourage their actors to join us, and we all need to work together.
That's true.
You know,
That's very true.
the rights of actors directly influence the job of the agent, and agents are constantly fighting for essentially the rights of actors: better pay, better working conditions, better contracts, more protection, and that's what Saga's working for as well. So our interests, I think, are very aligned.
While we're on the subject of better working conditions, what are good working conditions for an actor?
So, in some ways, I think it's quite hard for the public to think of actors as a segment of the economy or of South Africa that are discriminated against. Right? We have an idea of actors working in a very glamorous, very sexy kind of industry. Right? We go on set and we rehearse and we have costumes and it sounds so amazing. And we watch films and television and plays, and it looks like such an amazing thing to do. The reality of it is often very different. And so the working conditions of an actor, we need to focus on very specific things. Sexual harassment is a huge issue at the moment. You know, #MeToo and all of the stuff that's come out in Hollywood about sexual harassment. I think it has spurred the world into really looking at individual countries, industries, the industry as a whole, and looking at where does sexual harassment sit in our industry, and what can we do about it, and are there protections and stuff in place to protect people against that? So that's a big thing. Sexual harassment, safety in the workplace is very important. There have been some incidents recently where actors have been injured. An actor died on set sort of quite recently. So safety in the workplace is very important. Make sure that there are some basic standards in place. You know, is there a health and safety officer on the set? Is there a medic on set? Are actors free to say, actually, that stunt or that thing you just asked me to do makes me feel unsafe? Can an actor refuse to do it? You know, so making sure that those things are in place. Also, the actual working conditions. You know, what is an actor experiencing on set? Does an actor have a place to sit? I mean, we spend hours on set waiting. Do we have a place to sit? Do we have water to drink? Is there shade? I mean, I've literally shot in the desert where a car dropped us off. And the director said, thanks so much for coming, and we're going to get you, it's probably going to be a couple of hours, so just sit tight.
It's never a couple of
hours. And that's it. Well, even if it was, I didn't have a chair to sit in. I didn't have an umbrella to sit on. I didn't have any water to drink.
Sure.
So, I mean, the actual working conditions of an actor are one of the things that we look at, as well as the legislation around that. Without legislation in place, how do we force production companies to make sure that there's a specific person on set that people can go to if they're feeling sexually harassed? There's another group called SWIFT, which is Sisters Working in Film and Television. And they are championing the fight against sexual harassment at the moment. And we are partnered with them in that. And we absolutely support all of the amazing work they're doing.
My God, you just said medic on set. When last did you see a medic on set? Like, we've been in so many sets. Like, my God, that just heartbreaking, actually.
Yeah, you just went all the way in there.
Because I'm like, when last I saw a medic, like, they're on standby, they're like...
So they're every set is supposed to have a medic on it. And if you look at the big budget things, big budget television, big budget films, the international stuff, there's always a medic on set.
Ambulance there, actually, and medics.
Absolutely, because it's in the contract. It's part of the law. You have to have somebody on set to handle accidents and injuries and stuff.
Sure. I'm gonna take you back a bit, right? What percentage should an agent take? I really want to know this.
Is that part of the rides, right?
It varies.
Yeah.
It varies from
So
agent to agent. So there
Okay.
isn't a specific mandated percentage. I know that agents down in Cape Town will often take a slightly bigger percentage than up in Joburg.
Sure.
Across the different agents I've had, I mean, in my career of, I think, just over 20 years, I think I've had 4 or 5 agents. And it varies across the agency. Often agents will take more for adverts than for normal television because the fees are generally higher. They'll take less for theatre than for television or film because the fees are generally quite low and quite pathetic. is that a good word? I don't know. Probably not. So, in general, if I don't know, if you're paying more than, I don't want to. In my experience, if
Throw
you're
around
paying,
figures.
if you're paying more than sort of 16% of something to an agent, you should really have a look at that.
Should run away,
If
right?
you're paying less than 10%, then I would stick with that agent because
Definitely.
that's
That's
unusual. Yeah, but
right.
again, those figures change from theatre to television to film to local to international.
Is this where the regulations
commercials.
come in to be like an agent? Does that affect that percentage or how the agent comes to that figure? If
It's
the industry
definitely
is
something
more
that Saga could
regulated?
look at. It's definitely something we could discuss with the PMA.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard of any sort of outrageous figures. I haven't heard of anything that would sort of pop up on Saga's radar as saying that's
see,
exploitation. So it's definitely something that could be regulated.
Yeah.
You know, we can meet with the agents and with the PMA and have a look at how those figures are arrived at and if we can standardize.
That's very insightful. You're still listening to Insightful Conversations at brandlife.co.za. We're going to take another short break to go pay the bills.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Brandlife.co.za is thought leadership radio. It's a new way to communicate your brand, your value, and what we think about your industry. Be a leader, be a voice, and we will help you shape your industry. Our radio platform is for thought leaders who want to share insights, businesses who want to create value for their databases, organizations who want to control their message, for those that drive change. Make your brand come alive on brandlife.co.za, harnessing the power of talk radio.
Are you an innovator and solution provider? The Innovation Hub is looking for entrepreneurs in the ICT, advanced manufacturing, bioeconomy, and the green economy sectors.
If you have an innovative prototype or startup business which addresses an existing market need and you're predominantly based in Gauteng, we invite you to apply for one of our incubation programs. For more information, visit theinnovationhub.com or call 012-844-0000. The Innovation Hub is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency.
Yeah, welcome back. We're having really important conversations here. And if you're an actor out there, send us any questions via WhatsApp, or did I just say WhatsApp? Do we have WhatsApp? I don't know where WhatsApp came from.
Just give
Twitter.
them your number.
I almost
He
did.
is that guy,
I almost
Always
did.
gives
And I
us-
almost did. And I was like, okay, no, maybe not. Yeah, hook us up on Twitter. We're joined by Daniel Janks, and from Saga, we're really going deep on actors' rights. Yes, Mandisa, you had a
It's
question.
Daniel Janks.
It's Janks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Janks.
What did I say now?
Yanks.
I get Yanks a lot though. I've
did say, hey?
I've sort of learned to just let it slide.
Take it in.
Yeah.
Hey man.
Thanks, Mandy.
What? You're welcome. I want to know, right? What's the one biggest mistake you've ever made? Like where you're like, oh man, I overlooked something in my contract and it just caught up with you.
I'm trying to think now. I think I've been very lucky and been protected by my agent and maybe common sense. I don't know that I don't know that I can sort of think of, oh hell, I forgot that they left a zero out on my fee or something. So I've never really experienced any sort of big contractual like, oh hell, surely this is my right. Oh no, it's not covered. I mean, I suppose the biggest thing for me often that is a little fuzzy is overtime. Overtime can be a little bit weird on sets. There are some very specific rules about overtime and the way overtime works. And it can be very awkward for an actor. You're on set, you've been there for 12 hours.
True.
The assistant director comes up to you and says, hey, buddy, we just got to get this one more shot. I think it's going to take like 10 minutes. Is that okay? And in your mind, you're going, this isn't going to take 10 minutes. I know what this is going to take. This is going to take 40 minutes if we're lucky. And are you asking me to do this as a favor without paying me overtime? Or are you saying that there is over or there isn't, so it's you don't want to suddenly be that guy on set to say, I'm happy to do this, but it's overtime.
Please speak to my agent.
Yeah, or just tell me that we're earning overtime, and I'm in, and it's good. That's in my contract, and so that's certainly one of the things that often gets awkward for me on set. Yeah,
isn't that the challenge actually with actors actually when they want to voice themselves out, the fear of am I being a diva, or the fear of they're gonna lock me out, they're gonna shut me out. What's the word?
Blacklist me.
That's really big. And I think is that what's silencing actors as well? The fear of being blacklisted.
That stuff has happened to me on set, and I know that it happens often on set to lots of people. I don't want to be the guy that stops this entire shoot because of an issue I'm having and I'm not sure what my rights are. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to do in this situation. They've just asked me to, who knows, take my shirt off for the scene. In my contract, nothing was said about nudity or partial nudity. Am I comfortable with that? Am I not? If I'm not comfortable, do I say no? The director's like, no, for my vision, we have to have X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well,
the vision.
Now am I the guy who's going to ruin the director's vision? So he often, gets, don't worry, no director's vision has ever been for me to personally take my shirt off. But, it happens with stunts as well. I really need you to just stand right on the edge of that cliff. That's going to give the shot just the danger we need. And then, so... if you know your rights, if you understand your contract, if you've got a really good relationship with your agent, those are the things which empower you in that situation to go, I'm in this, I'm part of the team, I want to get this show made, I want to tell this story. But we've gone half an hour over every single night for the past 4 nights. So I'm here, I'm willing to do this. Yeah. But guys, this is overtime.
Wow.
So say I'm an up and coming, or say I'm a budding actor, right? And I have no idea what a contract, an acting contract looks like. Maybe this is my first agent, and where do I go online? Where do I go to Saga? How does Saga help me?
So one of the things that Saga has done since our inception is to work very hard with producers, with broadcasters, with theatres to try and standardize contracts. Because contracts, especially in this industry and in this country, every producer, every production company, every theatre have got their own contract. And that's a big problem because, as an actor, you say a young, upcoming, budding actor, I've been in it for 20 years. I don't, my understanding of contracts and legal terminology is very limited. So one of the things Saga is fighting for is the standardization of contracts. So we know that in any contract, certain basic clauses, certain basic protections are in there. Your first resource is your agent. That is their primary job. Yes, they find auditions for you, they send you for jobs, they try and help you get work. One of the big misunderstandings, I think, about an agent is that it is an actor's job to get work. It is an agent's job to help you facilitate that work.
Wow.
So, and I wish somebody told me that at the beginning of my career.
Even me, I'm just like, wait.
Because I totally sort of passed that responsibility to my agent. Get me work, find me work, make work happen. And I'll just sit here and sort of wait for you to call me.
Sure.
And I think that's a big misconception. I think we need to be looking for work. We need to be meeting people. We need to be talking to people. We need to be hearing about projects. And an agent's job is, okay, I've gotten a role. Now your job is to help me make sure I've got a decent contract. I've got a decent relationship with the job. If I've got a question, I send it to the production through you, to the theatre producers through you. So I think your first port of call on contract stuff is your agent. That is their job. But as Saga, we are a very powerful resource to advise about those sorts of things. Any of our members can send us a contract and say, is this normal? Is this standard? What do you think? Is there a standard contract that I could use for this, that I could insist on using? What is the position of, I'm working for this broadcaster or this production company? Are they supposed to be using a standard contract? So absolutely, that is something that we do for our members, and to make sure that those contracts are protecting them and are fair, not only to the actor but to the producers as well. I think there's this preconception in this industry that everyone's an enemy, right?
Yeah.
The producers are the enemy of the actors.
Yeah.
They're trying to stiff us on money. They're trying to get us to work extra hours. They're trying to, just leech us of talent and I think that's really wrong. There are some producers, there are people out there who are not good people, but I think that's true in any sphere, in any industry. In general, we want the contract to protect the producer, to protect the production company, to protect the project, to protect us as well. And Saga's a great resource for that for our members. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hence, we are called Insightful Conversations. In wrapping up, Mr. Daniels, how can people reach Saga?
So they can go to our website, which is saguildofactors.co.za. That is the primary resource. They can get all our contact details. They can send us emails. They can look at all the resources we have, contracts and stuff.
Great.
In wrapping up, I just want to say, everybody, whenever I talk about Saga to actors, they always say, well, what can Saga do for me?
Yes.
And then I can have a conversation with them about what Saga can do for you, and that's a very long, very powerful conversation. But what I always try and ask them as well is, at what point do you owe us, your fellow actors, your industry? So we can do all sorts of things for you, and we're doing all sorts of things for you as an actor. But unless we stand together, we have no power. So my question is always, what do you owe your fellow actor? What do you owe this industry?
What can we give to the industry?
Yeah. And if you want to give back, join Saga.
Amazing.
That's beautiful, actually.
That's amazing.
So that
Well,
is...
thank you.
Well, you put a spin on things, you know what I mean? So thank you so much for joining us
It's
today.
such a pleasure. Thanks
We've
for having
had
me.
the most insightful conversations about
amazing.
the industry, the business of the acting industry, and how to protect yourself, man. Mr. Ayanda Sithebe.
That's about it. Until next week, Thursday, 12 o'clock. We love you. Stay healthy. No?
Know your rights. Saga is here. Know your rights as an actor, and yes, stay healthy.
Yeah, all right. It's cheers from us.
Bye.
Bye.